Good morning and welcome back to the Florida Aviation Network here at the 51st Annual Sun and Fun International Expo and Fly-In. Turn up the fun in 51. That's the motto for Sun and Fun this year, and we are so proud to be part of that here at the Central Florida Aerospace Academy. That's where our studio set is located, here on the Sun and Fun Complex, and it's what a great day. The weather's been absolutely phenomenal. And we have inspired, educated, and just involved as much as we can to get you more interested in aviation and aviation, more in particular, aviation safety. It's a wonderful, and if you haven't seen that picture of a biplane stuck in a tree, aviation in itself is not dangerous, inherently dangerous. However, to a higher degree than the sea, is terribly unforgiving of any incapacities or complacency. That is so true. It's a great time. You're having fun when everything's working good, but when things start to go south or go bad, we got to know what to do to get out of that or to prevent it from happening in the first place. And the way that we do that is we learn from those more experienced. We learn, and it's not a God-given talent of aviation, both maintenance or operations. However, God's got a lot to do with it, and people that have been involved in a situation that could be of great peril, if they're not religious, they get religious real quick. God, get me out of this. If you do, I'll go to church every Sunday. Well, that lasts for a little while, but we want to let you know that there is a way that God will keep his finger and his thumbs all over you if you do the right things. If you do the wrong things, he'll also bring you home. Today, we have the opportunity of talking to a true professional in the industry, and actually it's a sport as well. And this is the reason I want to introduce you to a guy I've known for a few years, but he's been around the block, and you need to tune him up and learn from this man. He's got a lot of knowledge, and well, enough talking about him. I want to introduce you to him, Shawn Knickerbocker.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Shawn,
nice to meet you again.
Good to see you again. Always good to see you.
And remember, that's a real name.
It is, Knickerbocker. And Shawn, I want to commend you. You're growing your hair out, I've noticed.
Yeah, you're a little ahead of me.
Yes, I am. But you know, we used to have hair. We were young at one time. But Shawn, tell us what you're doing and involved with today. Seminole Lake Glider Port, I think, is what you call home base.
Yeah, I live at Seminole Lake Glider Port, 6FL0, for you aviation enthusiasts that like the airport identifiers. But I live there, and I fly a DG-1000T, which is a high-performance, two-place, 20-meter wingspan. It's about 67 feet. Sometimes we use metric. And basically race gliders. Have a good time doing it.
Racing gliders that term is foreign to a lot of people. You race a glider.
Yeah, we have a start point. It's all GPS now, a high-tech GPS. So it's a start point, and you have a course you fly, and you have minimum time to fly that. It depends on the type of task. And you basically go out, and whoever gets around the course the farthest and the fastest wins the day. And at Seminole Lake, we had the seniors here just about back in March, which your Florida Aviation Network was out covering it. We had 60 some odd gliders, and we had a lot of fun.
I talked to you the other day, Shawn, and you mentioned that you just finished taking a little flight, and give us a little background on that flight.
Yeah, well, there's records. Each state has a record, and the state of Florida has 300 kilometers, which is about 187 statute miles. Triangle you fly, and the record was set for 60 miles an hour, and I did the record and passed it by 4 miles an hour, so I set a new state record.
Wow.
That's fun.
And that's taken off. And Shawn, do me a favor, hold your hand up. Wiggle your fingers for me.
I'm not shaking, but okay.
Okay. Well, people sometimes think those are fingers, but for Shawn, those are feathers. and on the ends of his wings, he's got these feathers that he. And if you feel a little tickle on one wing, what do you do, Shawn?
You turn into the tickle.
And what does that do?
And that makes you climb. and that's called a thermal.
Great. Shawn, is gliders and soaring sailplanes, is that all that you have done in your career?
No, I've flown a little bit more. I think I'm coming up on 60 years of flying.
Wow.
Yeah, and I just tapped. I was tallying everything up the other day. I ended up, I think I got about 25,000 hours, but I'm not an airline guy. So, there's a difference between a pilot and an aviator. A pilot goes in and just flies, pushes buttons, comes home. An aviator goes in, flies. When he comes home, he gets in something just like that, or a steerman, or a glider, or a helicopter, or a hot air balloon. There's so much diversity out there.
He's not just driving a bus, as they say.
No.
And Shawn, in your background, and I encourage folks to follow you and look into your background. P3 Orion, that aircraft has a little bit of history with you.
Yeah, it does. I'm retired. I chased drug smugglers for a long time, for 30 some odd years for U.S. Customs. And
but you didn't catch me yet.
You didn't know that. We did. It just hasn't come down yet.
Okay.
But anyway, my last 5 years of Customs, I went over to the surveillance branch, and I flew the P3. Or the Lockheed 188, which is the military version of the U.S. Navy P3, and also flew the AEW, Airborne Early Warning System, AWACS. We had AWACS in the P3.
Wow, and what are you doing, Shawn? And we were talking earlier about the attitude, the right attitude, and not the pitch attitude. What do you have going on that will help future wannabe aviators, not just pilots, but aviators, to kind of share some of your background and some of your knowledge? What's new coming up?
Well, everybody has a different approach, and everybody has a different path they can go down. But attitude is the most important thing. And in aviation, is a saying that those that talk do not know. Those that do not talk know. Absorb everything. Absorb, study. Knowledge is 95% of flying, and 5% is feel. That's what they told us when I was in the military. Okay, and the development as you go, the more diversification you get, the better you get. So for you young pilots out there, you get your private airplane, single engine, get that commercial next and that instrument. Once you have attained that, then go get your tail wheel sign off and a J3. Get your seaplane rating. Go get your glider rating. Your glider rating, it really makes you a real good pilot. During World War II, every Luftwaffe pilot was a glider pilot. They were good. They were real good. And flying, when I used to fly B-17s on tour, we had an opportunity to talk to some of the old pilots. They're almost all gone now. And they said the Luftwaffe pilots were really good. Really good.
Because they knew how to manage their energy.
Oh, that's exactly right. Energy management is superb. And that's what makes it real well. There was 2 air carrier incidents that involved no engines. One was in the Hudson, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Hit birds. Captain Sully.
Yeah.
What was he? Glider pilot from the Academy, Air Force. The other one is a quiet one. It's an Air Canada 767 called the Gimli glider.
Yes.
Look that up, guys. Gimli glider. They got gallons and liters mixed up, and they flamed the airplane out. And the captain was a glider pilot. And he landed that thing in a 5,500-foot drag strip in Canada.
Did you realize that that airplane, the performance was so good that day, right up to the point where they flamed out?
That's exactly right.
Because they were light.
They were
this
light.
thing's feeling good today.
Yeah, I know.
But thank goodness that had a happy ending. But they learned a lot out of that.
Yeah.
And you kind of mix it up. But Shawn, something's coming up here, I think, May 1st. What's happening May 1st? May
1st, I think we're going to have a web page, and I'm working with my partner in developing a web page. We're also going to have a podcast coming up. And I think we have some recordings of it, and it's more likely going to be live. And guess who's going to be one of my guests?
No, I understand.
Yeah. You talk about your convictions.
Me?
Yeah. I'm gonna interview you. And I
Okay.
got people like Lee Latterback's a good friend of mine, Stallion 51.
Okay.
I've got a whole bunch of FAA guys, Bob Jeck, former Fast Team manager,
Yeah.
and I got a lot of neat people. I did do an interview at the seniors. We've got about 15 or 20 done. Manfred Radius.
Wow.
I got a chance. I've known Manfred for years, and he's retired now, so he doesn't do air shows. He's here.
I know I saw him the other day. He's not flying. He kind of retired.
Yeah.
But Manfred, a classic example of there comes a point in time in your career, your age, your life that you decide, okay, I've had enough. I want to go out on a positive high note rather than a negative low note. And we know what that is in this industry.
Well, that is exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Are
you backing off a little bit?
Oh, I'm back way off. My last contract job, I just turned 72 in February. I feel phenomenal, and I'm still pretty good at the stick. But my last contract job was in South America, flying a Basler DC-3. You know what a Basler DC-3 is?
Got the turbines on it.
Oh yeah, the old PT-6-67s.
Yeah.
What a great airplane. A lot faster than the old DC-3. I've got a lot of time in DC-3 as well. But 70, I said, that's it. No more chasing drug guys, no more doing stuff, no more Iraq, no Afghanistan, all done. All done.
Well, there for a long time, you were one of the few designees in the Black Hawk.
Yeah, I was the only designee in the Black Hawk back in the early 2000s. And when they were being fielded through the asset sharing program to the firefighting companies. I spent a lot of time out in California giving type rides.
And Firehawk, is Firehawk still active?
Firehawk is still active. They're still doing that. And I've been to PJ helicopters and high performance helicopters, stuff like that out west. And what a great helicopter to fly. What a great, tremendous helicopter. A lot of power.
And power that more power, as they say, like Tim Taylor or Tool Time. More power, want power, turbocharge it.
Yeah.
Shawn, it's always. I'm looking forward to your podcast.
I am too.
Because it is attitude, and we were talking earlier about there's a fine line between confidence and cockiness.
Oh, that is.
Okay, fine line.
Yes.
And you must be confident to be a true professional pilot or mechanic. You've got confidence working on these birds.
Yeah.
It's not for everybody. But if you're overconfident, what is the outcome usually of being overconfident?
Either you're going to get scared to death or you become a statistic in a news media event. Maybe both. But have confidence. You need confidence. But don't push the limit. You need experience, and don't push the limit. Experience will come with confidence. Experience will come with education. Experience will come with flying different aircraft. And that's the most important thing.
I'll never forget, and I had a wonderful interview with Bob Hoover when we was still with us. And Bob, in his southern drawl, had a way of saying, "Man, got to know his limitations."
Yeah. Guess who else said that?
Tell me.
Dirty Harry.
Oh,
Remember?
That's right.
Clint Eastwood?
Yeah. The 44 mag. Man, got to know his limitations.
Yeah.
But, and it's true, man. And we always, this is a male-dominated industry, but that's turning quite a bit. Women in aviation, there's a lot of wonderful women that are involved in this, and they're pretty good sticks, and they're good mechanics too.
Well, I'll tell you, when I was an examiner after 40 years, I was doing a check ride, ATP, in the Seminole with a young lady, and she had her sights set. She wanted to fly for United. And when she was doing steep turns, that airspeed, that altimeter didn't move one bit. I mean, really. And I went up there and I tapped that thing, make sure it was working. It jumped a little. And I said, that's pretty good. She was a phenomenal pilot. She's now a captain on a 777 with United.
And is she an aviator or is she a pilot?
She's an aviator because
Okay.
you know what else she did?
Tell me.
She owns a Stearman, 300 Lycoming Stearman. Nice
Okay.
airplane.
Well, you had a 450 steering
I had a
for a while.
985, yeah, and 985. And Rob Locke,
Don't I know?
yeah, over at AKA Waldo.
Yeah, I always, whenever anybody mentions Rob, I always look up.
Yeah, Well,
you have to look up at Rob.
You know, Rob's a former guard for the L.A. Clippers.
Yeah, yeah.
Big time from University of Kentucky. Well, he dropped in the other day he just finished a Stearman, complete restoration, $300,000 worth. And it had a brand new 300 Lycoming on it. And I want to tell you something, that airplane, you can eat off every part of it. The engine had 45 minutes. He's doing the test flight on everything.
Excellent.
Beautiful airplane. Beautiful.
You know, speaking of the R985, Richard Porter, up in Leeward Air Ranch, they have the only R985 repair station. That's their special. That's all they do. And I was talking to him the other day. He said, Richard, how's business? He said, Ben, we're so backed up. I can't tell you how many orders we have on backup. That's so refreshing to hear in an industry that a lot of people say, oh, we're in the decline.
Yeah.
Things are backing off. It's hard to find parts. It is difficult to find parts in some situations.
It is.
However, they're out there, and man made it, so man can make it again sometimes. Yeah. I mean, for a fee.
Yeah.
But
if you get we need young warbird pilots. You know, you see out here T6s and P-51s. The guys get out of it, they're our age.
Yeah.
We need people 30 years old flying those things because they're going to be gone. And then know how to fly a round engine. That's why diversification. Get that round engine time. Pushing throttles up in a jet or a turbine is, okay. But when you know how to manage a radial engine, that is something else. It really is.
And actually, in a lot of this equipment, it's so much about feel, and force and feel. I mean, control input. If something is a little bit tighter than you're used to, something's wrong. Stop and investigate that, or go to someone with more experience. Say, help me figure this out.
Yeah, there's tricks of the trade. You know, when you fly a stick airplane, some people you see them flying it like this. You're supposed to rest your forearm on your leg and fly with your couple fingers and just your wrist.
That's it. Fine tune.
Fine tune.
Yeah.
That's it.
And I think the last time we went flying was in a little twin. I came and picked you up. Technam.
Yeah, Technam. Yeah, that was a good little tiny thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like you kind of put yourself in like a shoehorn.
Yeah.
You wear it like a slipper.
Well, when we're both you and I in there, we were like spamming the can.
Your podcast, and what is going to be the name of this podcast?
It's going to be called Soaring with Shawn. Now, that doesn't mean all glider stuff. We'll talk about airplanes and helicopters and pilot examiner stuff, FARs, litigation, expert witness, things of that nature. We'll talk about a lot of different things.
And Shawn, I understand up at Seminole Lake Glider Port, they stack them up back to back to back to back. And how many gliders did you have up there?
We had 60.
Wow.
30 on each roll. Wings overlap.
Does that happen every year?
Yeah, it happens every year in March. And basically, it's going to be, they launch them all with 4 tow planes in about 45 to 50 minutes. Amazing.
What's your tow altitude?
2,000 AGL.
2,000, okay.
Yep.
And everybody releases it
at 2,000, and then you climb up, and then you have a start gate. You have a start circle with like 5 miles radius around the start point. You got to make left turns in that. And then the start altitude may be 4,000 feet. So it's a 4,000 feet, and then when they start, then everybody goes. People go at different times. It's all GPS. Everything's timed on GPS.
You know, here's something that people don't really think about, but the tow plane. We need tow pilots. I mean, because it's not for everybody. Not everybody's cut out to be a good tow pilot. But there's a lot high tow, low tow.
Oh yeah. You can have a lot of issues too. Again, diversification. Get that high performance endorsement. Get that complex airplane endorsement. Get your tail wheel. Get things of that nature. Expand your knowledge and expand your experience. You'll go far.
And those things on the floor of the airplane, those aren't footrests, are they?
No. And let me tell you one thing about that. When I was in college back in the early 70s, I used to fly with a guy by the name of William Kirshner over in
Bill
Gatlinburg.
Kirshner.
I had some time to fly with him. And he told me, never fly an airplane if the paint's not worn off on the rudder pedals. Take that well in advance.
And, people don't realize there's interconnects in some of these more modern aircraft. And you really don't need the rudders. On the ground, maybe the taxi. But you put in a bank, and it automatically kicks in the rudder to help coordinate that turn.
That's right.
Little airplane like this yellow one, it's stick and rudder.
You want to know stick and rudder? Get yourself in a 26-meter wingspan glider and roll into a left turn. You got to start with full left pedal. If you don't, the yaw string goes phew, right
Shawn,
out.
you got me so intrigued. I want to go to that web pipe. I want to go to the podcast.
Yeah.
We're going to learn more.
Oh, yeah, we're going to have fun.
Thanks for joining us, Shawn.
Sure, anytime.
We're going to see you at the next interview. It's not going to be near as dynamic as this, but we're going to do it. Ben Coleman, see you next interview.